All right, we're
I
live
got the time
officially.
wrong. I'm so sorry.
Oh no,
It's
no,
all
it's okay.
Jerry's fault.
No, it's Cody's.
Oh
Cody's
yeah,
not here. It's
it's
Cody's fault.
Cody. We were waiting for Cody this whole time, and then Cody just texted us like a minute ago canceling. He's the absolute worst, unprofessional. So we're officially gonna be looking for a new co-host. Putting the feelers out there, guys.
Oh look, there's one right here.
But all right, let's get us started. What is up, everyone? Welcome to TSA Takeover Jammers in the Rough. This is our first ever all TSA presenting podcast. Um, one time only, maybe, but Cody bailed on us because he's a teacher. Josh, of course, our lovely co-host, is here. We got Oh Canada, Jerry, and of course, your man that's been stuck in traffic for 3+ hours, going a little stir crazy, Paige. So, what is up, Jerry? How have you been?
Busy, like insane. I don't even know where to start. Where do you guys want me to start?
Well,
Well, let's start.
talk about you. What's new with you?
I'm winding down. My season is winding down. So I have, I think, just 2 sanctioned events left, and I'm chill for the rest of the year.
Oh heck
See,
yeah!
I'm ready for that. Like, I'm hitting the tail end of my season too. I think I got like 3 more on my calendar, and I'm just like, no urge to fill it. Ready for the respite, the break, the off season.
I hear that.
What's your off season look like with your? Because like, isn't this like your only time with like no snow, and then like 2 months from now you're gonna be all snowed in for another 6 months?
So I do have I have unsanctioned events planned and some really cool events coming in the next month. But basically, that's pretty much it. It's going to be glow rounds and fall rounds until the snow hits, and then it's ribbon rounds, and
So you
we'll see.
you're just out there making up stuff now. Look at tassel
Ribbons.
rounds and Looney Tooney rounds and
I mean, isn't every round like Looney Tunes?
right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But no, I know we wanted to bring you on here to talk a little bit about some of the work you've been doing with First Nations and building a course on some tribal land. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I guess. Do you want me to just start from how it all kicked off this year?
Absolutely. How it began, how it kicked off, what it's doing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm all for it because I'm doing similar work down here. So to see somebody not only on the same team as me doing similar work, but taking huge strides for that's to me awesome. So I'd love to hear all of it.
So in 2020, Arlen and I went out and we did a full disc golf tour across our province. COVID, couldn't do anything. You had to stay indoors or travel singular. So me and Arlen just went and we hit all these courses. When we went to one of these courses, it was called Sasquatch Alley, and it was at Papikas's First Nations Reservation. And all they had were these yellow buckets, and it was on top of these wooden stakes, and there was only 9 holes. But when you played it, it was in the bush, and it really left this impression on you because there's this one tree, and it's just absolutely gorgeous the way the sun hits the leaves, and so it leaves an impression on you. And we've always talked about that course and how we would like to see a tournament happen out there and get a bunch of people out there, but nothing ever you know happened. And so this year, Disc Golf Saskatchewan, so I'm on the board for Disc Golf Saskatchewan, and we were calling out to all the clubs to see who wanted to host it, our Sask Open Provincial Championships. And all the clubs had their big thing going already, and so they just couldn't handle another big event. So Arlen looked at me and said, well, what if we hosted one? I'm like, not a chance. I can't handle another thing on my plate. I can't do it. And the look on his face was just so sad. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it under one condition. And if it's at Papikas's. And he's like, sure, let's see what we can do. So we immediately went offside and reserved 18 baskets. And then we touched base with Ian and Gage McKay. So the little backstory there is that Ian always would go disc golfing with his sons, Gage being one of them. And every time they go, his dad, Douglas McKay, would always say, oh, you guys are going to go throw discs. And he said, yeah, why don't you come? And he said, I'll come when you build a course on Papikas's. So that's why Gage and Ian went out and built a little 9-hole course. So when we contacted Ian, we said, would you guys be interested in hosting the Sask Open? Like, we would be the TDs and we would make all, the organization on our end, but like, would you guys be willing to? And they asked us if we would work with them in getting a proposal from, the chief and council and see if they would, maybe they would approve getting 18 baskets for their youth program. And so we did that. That was Arlen's doing, writing up the letter from Disc Golf Saskatchewan. And immediately they were like, we will get these baskets in. Let's do it. So everybody's full on board. Everyone's super excited. I called a 4-man crew, but really there's a lot of people behind the scenes that did a lot that a lot of people wouldn't notice. But 18 baskets in what's already designed as a 9-hole course, that's an incredible feature of itself. Ian and Gage have a youth program, and they take, some high-risk youth out to try and teach them a different way of life. And I don't want to get into too many personal things, but I think Paige can understand some of the experiences these kids have had in their life, and disc golf is just giving them that hope and that courage and inspiration and self-esteem that they lack. And so what Ian and Gage are doing right now, like, they're the real heroes. All we did was create the first ever PDGA event on First Nations land. And so it was a huge success. We had about 102 athletes out on the field. If you haven't had a chance to go to watch our opening ceremonies, I highly recommend it. It is on Disc Golf Saskatchewan, and we did it Facebook Live. So we did the whole, it was very beautiful. We did an opening ceremony with singers and drummers, and the chief spoke and the elder spoke and did a prayer for us. And yeah, so go check it out on Disc Golf Saskatchewan.
Definitely, that's awesome.
Now, can you spell Saskatchewan for our listeners?
Really? S-A-S-K.
Sound it out. Sound it out.
Oh, you actually want me to spell it? I thought you were being smart.
No, you're good. Of course I'm joking. You can't take me seriously at all. Rule number 1.
I did it, and then I did. You held on to it too long.
Oh, I hold on to it. I'm good at that. I hold the silence really well. But no, I didn't know that was the first PDGA sanctioned tournaments on First Nation land.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
Huge.
Well, here's the thing. Official. Let's be honest. Every time we go disc golfing in North America, we're playing on First Nations land.
We don't have to be that specific, right? Like,
no,
let's talk about land back movement. Let's start talking about. We need to go that deep with it.
I'm going that deep with it because it's true. Arlen King spelled it out for you. There you go. He spelled it wrong.
Google search.
Did he spell it wrong?
No, he
didn't. I wanted to hear it live. I thought there was a Q in there.
Oh, there was in our discs.
But what?
So we put a Q. Where is it?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Are those TSA discs?
They are. Of course they are. This is
So we're gonna do a trade. My tournament disc for your tournament disc.
yeah, I would do that.
All right.
That's a good trade. That's a
As
good
long as
trade.
it's
You won't pay
green.
shipping. I'll get a green one. I'm sure they threw some green ones in there. But
Yeah,
so
no,
what was the? I know there was like a paper written up. Like, what was the newspaper article about?
I didn't read a newspaper article. There
I thought
was
you had a picture. Your picture in the paper.
if
Is that not?
I'm not, if there was, I wasn't told of it. There was an interview
Oh.
on CTV, but I wasn't interviewed.
Oh, okay. Who was interviewed, and why not you?
You'll have to ask the reporter on that one, Donnie Mace. I'll put him out there. So Arlen was interviewed, so was Ian Engage, and quite honestly, Ian Engage deserved the full-on interview because what they're doing out there is huge, and the work they put into it, like. I'm so undeserving of the recognition. They deserve the recognition. They put back-breaking work. They made that tournament. Honestly, I still get people messaging that was one of the best tournaments they've ever been to. So they did a lot in
Oh yeah.
the background. I just made it surface level, like perfect. They made it deep down in the roots, perfect. And so we were just a good team. Like, honestly, I would run a tournament out there next year if they allowed me to, because it just felt like we were a perfect team together, all four of us.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, what is the plans for building on it?
So they actually put in, oh my God, there's so much drama that happened in the mix of it. Let me tell you.
Oh my I'm God. Here for the drama.
So I don't even know if I should even put the name of the company down, but I'm going to just omit them because I don't think they deserve any credit in any of this. They originally bought 19 baskets from a company that ultimately went under. And that company took their money and never provided them product. And so they were supposed to be, like, this course is supposed to be in the ground like June. And it didn't get in the ground until literally second week of August. So
wow.
you can imagine how stressed out we were when we're like, we don't have baskets. But let me tell you the real heroes in the story. Disc Republic, along with Innova Discs, rushed everything. So Innova, Canada Innova, sent the sleeves so that they can get those baskets in the ground like quick. And by the time the sleeves were installed, the baskets were already sitting on the course. And so we literally had 2 weeks to get those baskets in, and it was quick. Like 1 day turnover, those baskets were in the ground. And that's because, I said, sorry. That was because Ian Engage. Yeah, they did so much. And yeah, and I'm just honored that they allowed me to come out and help put the baskets in and play the first course. We played the first round on that course, and your girl got the first birdie on the course.
Oh, let's go.
There you go.
Hole number 1, I got the first birdie. So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I probably took the first bogey. No, Arlen did. But
well, looks like,
I got the first birdie.
Arlen
got the first
Arlen
chain
got
out.
the first chain out. Yeah.
I recorded that too, so it was awesome. But yeah, no, it was stressful because I mean they put like $9,500 down on baskets that never showed up. So, and of course, like they were really patient and they would just kind of like message me and then I'm like, well, you don't have baskets? What do you mean you don't have baskets? And they're like, well, we were supposed to get them like a month ago. And I'm like, what do you mean you were supposed to get them a month ago? And so I had to like go out and try to find out what happened. And that's when once I got digging down, I realized this company took their money and kind of did the dip and found out that they did that to 4 other communities. So it was just kind of, yeah.
Definitely sounds
soured
like
it a little bit.
Style move. I mean, you can just say Prodigy if it's Prodigy. You know?
It wasn't. It wasn't. I'll tell you, it wasn't.
No, it's gonna be forever Prodigy in my mind. That's something
well,
they
didn't go with Prodigy for that fact.
Yeah.
They went this method because it was supposed to be a Canadian company making the baskets. And they were told that it was PDGA approved and that they were sending them pictures of these baskets that looked like they were done. And yeah, like I said, I did more diving and I'm like, oh, those baskets never existed. They were never PDGA approved. They passed it on to someone else in hopes that that other person would take over it. And that other person, I think, had full on intentions, but there was no way they'd be PDGA approved in time. There was just no way. And so they're doing their thing right now, and I don't want to jeopardize what they have going on right now because I'm hoping that success will come their way. But ultimately, the money that went to the second set of baskets were supposed to put cement tee pads down for this tournament. And so we didn't get cement tee pads and signs, but we at least got the baskets, and they were gorgeous. So, and I give
Is that money coming back your way, or is it just kind of lost?
Well, they're working on stuff. I don't want to.
All right.
I don't want to. You know,
You're too nice. You're too nice. You gotta drag these people out there. One thing I've learned from like animating in the buyer feedback is like all these people that are like, oh, I want to protect this scammer. Like at the end of the day, they're the ones that scammed. They don't need protection. Like trying to protect the people from getting scammed in the future.
Oh, you want to know the company? I'll say it. Yeah, I'll tell you. I have no problem telling you.
I want to know. I want to know the company.
So I was sponsored by them at the beginning of the year. Yeah. At the beginning of the year, I was sponsored by them, and they were Okanagan Dissupply. So if you look back at my post, you'll see that I was tagging them on everything. And then all of a sudden, like, that's why they tried to support me. They tried to support a Canadian company. They tried to, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I have no problem telling you the company. The issue is I don't think they're deserving of any knowledge for this event. And I just... Yeah. Like what they did to this event hurt it more than anything, but we overcame it, and we didn't let them cramp our style. We surpassed our expectations and used that as our motivation. And I'm so grateful that Gage and Ian don't resent me or hold me, on that level of, like very easily could have blamed me, and they never did. They supported me, and I supported them, and I told them anything they need from me in this issue, in this case, I got their back. So we're gonna get our money back. They're gonna get their money back. I guarantee it. Like, I believe in it. So
yeah.
I hope anyway.
So you pushed through it, and you got a great tournament.
So was it Okanagan Dissupply? Screw you guys. That's what we can say.
100%.
Don't support Okanagans. Or the
a lot of people got burnt out of it. It wasn't just we saw it firsthand and quickly, but there were other communities that were also affected, and it's just and it's just unfortunate. Like, I never thought that it could be like that, and a lot of frustration, a lot of stress, and we still, like I said, we overcame it, and we killed it. So.
But glass half full that you did overcome it. You came together as a group and you made it work, and you made it an amazing tournament for a lot of people. And going through struggles like that, I think it makes you better. Oh, it's fine. He was too loud anyway. It makes you better as a person to like persevere through a big challenge like that.
I think what that really did was bring like Arlen, myself, Ian, and Gage closer together, because we could only trust each other. In disc golf, you get all in this hush hush, and you don't want to speak poorly of your sponsors because you don't know. But it was like I couldn't just sit back and continue to watch what was going on. And so I kept asking questions, and I felt like people were looking at me like I was a bad guy, but I'm like, I'm asking the questions because we deserve the answers. And I feel like we're getting just like this surface level response of, oh, I'm in a barbecue, I'll explain it to you after, or oh yeah, I'm gonna totally do that. I'm just going into league, and we were just getting the runaround. And I'm like, how does no one else see that we're getting the runaround? And finally, after the one person I felt like came at me sideways, I was like, you have to understand there's an entire First Nations community out 10K over baskets that were supposed to be in the ground a month ago. And that's when everyone was like, whoa. And it was then people were going into my DMs, hey, well, there was supposed to be a course in this place and they never got their baskets. I'm like, see, if no one talks, no one knows. And so, and this, like, the owner has had great reputation in the community, so everyone was quick to defend him and say, oh, he's a good guy, he's a great guy, he's done so much for us. And I'm like, yeah, but what's he doing now? He's taking our money and not providing the product that he's supposed to be providing. And he made a lot of promises to people that he didn't follow through on. And I mean, for our women's event, I had to hound him for like 6 weeks for a $50 pole sponsor, which to me, just say no. Just say no if you can't afford it. Just say no. Like, I'll move on, but you're telling me you are. And then when I have to hound you for $50, it's almost like it's not worth it. But you're my sponsor and I want to have my support. Just be honest. I've already got you all over these posters and I've already put you in everything, but now you're not following through. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to. Like, just say no. It's fine. Like, a million people say no, we can handle it. We move on to the next guy. Like, when you're, so that was a red flag. I shouldn't have to hound 6 weeks for something you promised. And then the basket's just like red flags everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I don't like any of this. This is not how it's supposed to be. And, I signed up for this and I thought it was going to be absolutely amazing. And it was an amazing team. I will say, despite the owner, the team was pretty friggin' solid. And I have friendships with that team that I know will surpass all the drama that came out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing about, like, I think some of the disc golf community, it's like everyone's good until they're not, but everyone, like, wants to depend, and that's where, like, I think some of those things get out of control really quick. I mean, that's happened, like, locally, like, with one of our guys down here, and then as well as just, I mean, scammers in general like to prey on that. I always like to joke, like, well, if I'm going to leave the disc golf scene, I'm going to leave it in the big bay. I'm going to use up all my street cred. I'm going to scam everybody, and then you're never going to hear from me again. I always joke like that, but it's like, there's people that actually do it, and that's kind of scummy to do.
He's still out there. He's playing in tournaments still.
Of course he is, because people, like, as I say, of course he is, because people are defending him.
Yeah.
Like, instead of, like, ousting him, instead of coming together as a community and being like, hey, this individual shouldn't be a part of this community, they're creating a space for them to be successful and, to be honest, just be predators, right? They're preying on other unknowing individuals in regards to, like, finances, money, sponsorships, all of that stuff, and that's always a bad look, and it makes our sport look worse and worse when those things happen. Same thing with, like, PDGA. I know I always bash the PDGA, but when things start to get, like, suspect, like Nate Heinold and him all trashing, like, Simon Lazotte's line on camera, like, that's a bad look, and it looks bad, and it just makes us look, as an organization, really unprofessional. And as a sport, when we're trying to break through to, like, next level, it makes it more like, oh no, that's just a hobby, it's not a sport. And you got to figure out how to clean up some of those things in order to legitimize what we're doing.
You make a really good point. And, like, how do we turn it from just a simple hobby to a full-on sport and is recognized? Like, there's so many elements of disc golf that's different than any other element of sports. I mean, player packs. If you're going into a tournament for boxing or fencing or baseball, football, do you ever get a player pack in those sports? But here we are in disc golf, and we're like, oh, player packs have to be 85% or 100% or 110% of your entry fee. And it's like, but in any other sport, your entry fee pays for this event. And it doesn't matter if it's amateur or pro, it all pays the event so that they could be hosting it with insurance and washrooms and the facilities. So like our course is maintained and we get the tee pads and signage and everything. Like, at what point do we start eliminating player packs as a thing and start presenting it as a full-on sport, and your entry fee, maybe your entry fee drops because you're not paying for your player pack, you're just paying for your entrance.
Yeah, because you look at the difference of like.
Go ahead, Paige. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
I was gonna say, like, your player pack is like $60, and $30 of that is like your player pack. How many people would willingly forego their player pack if they can just sign up for a tournament for $30?
Yeah.
And that's just to run the event.
And pay $30 for a disc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What were you saying,
maybe
Josh?
I mean, first I'll bounce off that little idea. Like if they have like tournament discs available to purchase, so you could kind of like get back up to that price point by purchasing from them. That's a good way to do it. What I would be scared of is them eliminating players pack but not changing the price. A lot of teams, they have that. Yeah, I can see that happening.
But then that becomes a for-profit.
Well, that's where you change the language too, right? If you're going to keep the same price, then just like the pros, all of their money goes to the payout. Yeah. For amateur, if you forego the player pack, all of the money goes to script. Yeah. And just do it that way. And then it's like the same thing. It mirrors each other. One's playing for script and one's playing for cash, and that's the separator. I think it's pretty simple to do. And then you have tournaments like this that you're able to pick up as well with the script.
Oh no.
So no.
That's where like tournament directors make the. Oh, am I listening
no.
to this?
Yeah, you're turning into a robot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just.
You're back.
Yeah. I don't know. I was up in Tulalip, Washington, Tribal Opioid Summit all week. Amazing conversations, testimonials, everything like that about addressing the opioid problem in tribal communities. But I've been stuck in traffic for 4 hours, so I'm just heading back home now, which is why I'm stuck in the car. I saw a comment earlier asking about where Paige is driving to. I'm driving home. I am tired of being away from my family, away from my discs, away from my bed, and that's where I'm rushing to right now. So I do apologize haughtiness. So I'll use my little bit of connection to say that.
All right, that was good. We got most of it. So that's good. That's good. I do want to pull up from the chat because this is a really good point here.
The Doma Arigato?
Well, like from like Arlen, like so many people are sponsored and so many already have their bags already set. So a lot of items get redundant. I have so many discs, towels, minis, shirts, etc. It's true. Like,
or you can't use them.
I like getting tournament discs because each amateur tournament I do, I get my disc and then I don't throw it, I hang it. And so I got like a history of all the tournaments I've played. But you can also purchase those. But yes. The next comment after Arlen's was from Bob Blunt, who said, I'd rather have water on the course for players, lunch provided between rounds for the extra money, and the option to buy a tournament disc if I want it. That'd be cool to still have a little bit higher price of a tournament fee, but have waters, have bathrooms.
They're supposed to have water and bathrooms in A tier, B tier, and C tier.
So I would be that I've seen that.
Are you kidding? It's literally a requirement in the PDGA. So if they're not providing waters, there's actually an allotment of per person that you're supposed to be providing for waters. So the temperature goes up. They're there. I'm telling you, they're supposed to have water. So if they're not providing water, that says more about your TD than anything.
That checks out.
Well, and also too, like where I get to, it's like I want intent. If you're gonna keep a player's pack, put some intention into it. A lot of people are like, "All right, cool. I bought 50 discs from, Innova, or whatever they gave me. Here's, I'm gonna charge $25 a piece, so you get 2 discs, $50 is your player pack." And they move on. Like, I like people that put some thought into it, some effort. Like, I know Top Flight, they're local here. They do a lot of great work. They do like sunglasses. They have like a bogey ball where you get you throw it, you get it out of the tree. They have socks. They have like those type of things. Like even Max Wax, right? Like diversify the player packs. Don't get lazy with it because I feel like that's where it starts, right? Like the amateurs come in, they get a player pack. It's not exciting. They walk away just kind of already with the meh about the tournament, and then the tournament starts, and it doesn't get better from there. I mean, Jerry's showing off her lovely stick. It goes
It's a
from
meter
It's a foot.
stick.
Oh,
It's a meter
stick.
stick. So if you go OB, you can get a full measurement of your inbounds because your feet are different. I guarantee you, you're shorting yourself a full meter. On top of that, we had these Rip It Grip pads that mark your lie.
Oh yeah.
So if your mini's here, you get this full length of this to utilize as your lie. And if it's in the mud, you use this to get grip so that you don't slip. And in the winter time, you flip it over and it sticks to the ice so you don't slip on the ice.
Oh, that's
That
cool.
was my player pack. Well, on top of the towels. Like we had goat towels.
yeah, Jerry
Oh yeah,
showing
you got
off
goat
one
towels.
of their 40 sponsors.
The goat towel.
Heck
I
yeah.
went 40 sponsors. We had a lot of
Well, that's a cool
sponsors.
players pack.
And then the TSA disc.
That's a hell of a players pack.
Yeah, I worked really hard and I had phenomenal sponsors help, like step out of the woodworks and help us. I am so absolutely grateful for all our sponsors, right from our title sponsor all the way down to our whole sponsors. We overdid it with the whole sponsors. People were still sending money, and I'm like, "Whoa, I've maxed out! I maxed out!" And so we had to offer up prizes for like CTPs and long pots. Like we continued on, so we're never going to say no. All it did was increase our experiences for our players. So in one of the pictures I sent you, you see like a jar full of big feet. And that was one of our events, which is how many steps are in the jar? Yeah. So those are big feet in there. And I counted each foot that I put in there. So it was 239. And it was a guessing game, and $2 a guess or 3 guesses for $5, and winner takes all. But we were able to like keep things fun. Like I did a lost and found bounty. So I'm going to tell you, if you think this course was going to be easy, everyone was insane. It was one of the hardest courses people have ever played, but they loved it. And it's literally in the bush, in the thick of it. And we all took bets on what's going to be the course record after the weekend. Like I guessed -7. I didn't think anyone could beat -7. Few people said maybe -9. No, Brian Fries came out and absolutely obliterated. I don't think we'll ever see a course record taken from him with a -15. I don't know. I don't even know how he did it. Nobody can understand. But -15, unbelievable. And so I knew people were going to lose discs because there was water holes that I guaranteed people were going to go into it. And then the bush, because people are kicking off trees and they don't know where they kicked, and they're going to have to either re-tee or, go to the drop zone. Who knows? And so I actually put out a lost and found bounty. So if you lost a disc, put your name in the pool. If you found a disc, put your name in this pool, and we'll do a random draw to win $50. And yeah. So thanks to our sponsors, we were able to do a bounty. And yeah, like I think there was like 87 lost discs.
Oh wow.
And there was more, and there was more discs that were found than that, because I guarantee you up till that week, lots of discs got lost. I lost 3 myself. Yeah. And people were finding my disc that I lost the week before. I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful. But yeah, so there was probably, I think, 90 some found. So yeah, the bounty really worked. People wanted to search for discs because they want that $50 chance, right? And yeah, our sponsors.
That's a cool way to do it.
I had huge compliments on it, but we also did Ideas Sports did a sponsor for a pair of shoes. So like, have you've seen the shoes, the disc golf shoe?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, they're awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we did a whole thing. We're posed in front of Sasquatch, and you have share all these links, and you'll get a chance to win a pair of shoes. And yeah, that was a huge hit. People were posing with Sasquatch in all ways, and I didn't pose with them. No, I feel
Oh
bad.
no.
I missed my chance, but yeah, we had a big Sasquatch, and everyone took pictures with them. It was awesome. So, Sasquatch sighting.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
So
I love to hear that.
yeah,
I know Josh
and I
has some
think
pictures. He should be. I don't know why he's not
yeah.
pulling them up while you're talking about these things.
I know
Well, because
he's
I don't know which
interested.
ones go where. But
Just
before we do
yeah.
that, we had somebody in the chat, and this is time for you to do a shameless plug. When you showed off that towel, the goat towel,
Yeah. Oh,
if
it's
you
the
want to
best
explain what that
towel.
towel, it is the
It's
best towel. It is
the greatest of all towels, let me tell you. So it's got two different sides to it, right? So this one is almost like that chamois style material, and then the other.
Go on. Sorry.
That's all right. I saw it too. And then the other side's more of that waffle style. So like this is the side I use if I want to dry my hands or if I need to like dry my disc. And then this is the side I use if I need to like wipe off mud or something. And I'll tell you, these towels are honestly although I'm sponsored by them, I swear by them. Okay. I've collected them before they even knew who I was. And they are literally a lifesaver. If you're in pouring rain, one towel is literally all you need to get you through a full round. You'll never have to change the towel out. It will dry up your discs and keep your hands dry. It's perfect. I've never had to worry about my hands slipping out of a disc. Anytime I'm in a tournament, it's raining, I'm like, I'm ready to go. And everyone's scrambling, trying to find their towels. I'm like, good luck. Because if you buy those really cheap microfibers, like they 2 uses and you're throwing them out because it's already drenched. This just absorbs so well. It's the perfect towel, and they are an amazing company. They do the absolute most for the community. They sponsor like so many people, and yeah, they're gems to deal with. So if you ever reach out to them, I guarantee will respond to you quickly. So
yeah, and not being
that's some
sponsored by
heroes
them.
right there.
But real quick, Paige, not being sponsored by them, I can contest to it. Jerry sent me one of the towels, and now I have 3. And you can get the big one, like Jerry showed you, but they also have little smaller ones. And so I have that smaller one like clipped to my side, so I can just like reach down, get my sweat off my hand if it's a hot day. And you only need 1 towel, but I got like
they have a third size. They have a third size now.
What?
It's called the Billy Goat. And you can hang it on your bag and it won't drag on the ground.
Okay.
Like if you use a cart, you don't require it. But if you ever take your bag out of your cart and you put your bag on the ground, these big ones, they will drag, right? So the Billy Goat prevents the drag. And it's yeah.
Awesome. Well, actually, so let's segue back in. Let's go through these pictures and maybe you can like say something about them.
Yeah, I can explain them all.
So that's the first one.
That's Ian holding the so the design is the Papikas' flag. And so I obviously the day we got our baskets in, I said, you deserve the first towel. So him and Gage got the first towel. So this is the man literally who deserves all the credit. That course wouldn't even be in existence if it wasn't for Ian. And he puts so much time into that youth program. And yeah, I'm going to cry because he's just an amazing man. Just truly amazing.
Awesome. Let's see.
And that's Gage. Oh, that's Gage. I love him so much. I could go on forever how nice he is, but he put the most back-breaking work into that course. So he was like cutting down trees and plowing lines, literally, 2 weeks before the event to make sure it was perfect. And they built a tee pad that was raised up, a wooden platform. They were building bridges for people. Like, yeah, he was putting a lot of hours at that course, and that course just was so beautifully designed with his blood, sweat, and tears.
Awesome. Let's see what we got here.
That's Sasquatch.
It'll
So
be
fun
quick.
fact. So fun fact, this course was literally follows along an archery course. So Pepicus is known for their archery program. They introduced archery as their youth program there years ago. And so Sasquatch is actually a target. So
Oh, really?
yeah, you can't see it right now, but there's actually an arrow that goes all the way through his side. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see what we got here.
That's the FPO card.
Heck yeah. Hanging
So
out with well, you took a picture with Sasquatch. You said you did.
That was it. Yeah.
Right there.
Well, so the lady on the right side of the screen, her name is Kathy Hudson, and she came all the way up from Florida for this event.
Oh, no, from Florida.
Yes, I'm glad you said that.
Whoa.
So I met her just like 2 weeks prior at Canadian Nationals, and I was playing with her, and she's like, yeah, so can you tell me the route of courses I want to play from here to Saskatchewan? And I'm like, oh, you're going to Saskatchewan? She's like, yeah. I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, I'm going to Regina because I'm going to play at their Saskatchewan Provincial Championship. I'm like, oh, you're her. Everyone in the province has been talking about you since you registered.
Everyone in the province. Everyone in the province.
Yeah.
All 300 of us.
Literally, everyone's like, who's this? Does she know which tournament she signed up for? Because like maybe there's a different Pepicus and she's confused. And yeah, it's lovely. Funny. I got a story. Can I tell you the story about her?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Tell us a story.
And it's too late to stroke her, so I get to tell you. So at Canadian Nationals, we're at like hole 16, and she throws this shot. There's a flagger out there, and she throws this shot, and we're all pretty sure she went OB. And she's like, if he throws up that red flag, I'm going to moon him. And she looks at me, and she's like, will you stroke me? I'm like, not a chance. He throws up the red flag, and she mooned him.
Love it. That's awesome.
I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. 72-year-old woman mooning the flag boy. I loved it.
Oh, that's great.
I guess that's one way to make FPO cards exciting.
It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And I actually just saw her today on my course, so she was out there playing on my course. So love her.
Awesome. Thanks for that story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Women are wild, okay? We're wild. So, do you see the disc in Sasquatch's hand?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
So that was gifted to the chief, and he's going to hang it up they have a hall, and he's going to hang that up on the hall. So it was specially designed. And it was designed by Scott Guthrie. So he did a phenomenal job, and he gifted that to the tournament, and everybody was wanting to buy it. And I'm like, it's not for sale. It's not for sale. And I'm like, I had to take it off the table because everyone was like pushing. And I'm like, I got to take it off the table because I have a problem saying no. And I had to say no. I'm like, it's not for sale. It's not for sale. I'll pay whatever. I'm like, it's not for sale. It's just a gift, and we're trying to showcase it. And so I had to take it off the table, and I gave it to Ian, and I'm like, you're going to take this because it might not make it to, where it's supposed to go. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, heck, that's really cool. That's a good gift.
Yeah. And that's the bucket and the tree.
The bucket.
That's where it all started.
That's what we used to have to hit.
Yeah.
That's the way the tree or the sunlight hits the tree.
Yeah.
The bucket. That's what made them want to build this course. Come on, Josh,
Yeah.
you need to listen.
So that's what used to hit. It was a tonal course, and you had to hit the bucket to make the putt. Have you ever played a tonal course before?
I have, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, maybe you haven't, because there's a lot of people out there that haven't. So, yeah, no, that was their course, and now there's a basket there. So
Heck yeah! And
That's
who are
awesome.
these two amazing people in the photo?
that was the first time we visited the course.
Let's see.
That's the
There we
18th
go.
hole.
Whoa,
That is the 18th hole.
that's cool. Was it nice and sturdy?
Yes. Yes. No, it was great. Like, it's actually very stable, and they just put like the TP around it perfectly. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the 13th hole. So, where this basket is used to be a paintball location. So when we looked at it, I'm like, oh, you got to keep that up. And we got to put the bat. Well, they said it too. So it's not my idea, but I'm like, you got to keep that up. They're like, oh, we are. I'm like, okay, good. Because that would be such a perfect spot. And I literally seen a disc stuck in the center of the slats there. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so I think that's actually the last one we have.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the top of the hour, so we can get to our final thoughts. We can start with you, Jerry.
I just want to say, like, I'm just happy I got to share this story. It's really important to me. A lot of people don't realize that I am Métis. I have Cree blood inside me, and that's like, to me, from the beginning of my disc golf journey, it's been really important to me to grow this sport in diversity, and not just through First Nations, but in all races, and in the LGBTQ community as well. I think it's just such a positive community, and it teaches you empowerment and courage and self-esteem, as well as gets you interacting with people you would never normally interact. We are a very inclusive group, and we need to keep that growing. So being the first tournament director of this event meant the absolute most to me, and I'm quite honored. On top of that, I have to thank Jammers in the Rough, because I didn't say it yet, but you guys helped sponsor our event tremendously, and I want to recognize that and say thank you personally. And also one of your sponsors of the show, Dark Ace, who also sponsored us in a big way. And because of that, we played metal all weekend long, despite the one guy asking us to change the music, because that wasn't going to happen. And like, you want the music changed? You sponsor us. Otherwise, we play metal.
Heck
So,
yeah.
yeah.
How about you, Paige? Oh, I mean, if you have more, Jerry.
Nope, Josh, you cut Jerry off. You cut him
I
off
know.
already,
I felt
Josh.
there was a
Josh
little
really
pause.
drove that beat
Just
the
thank
absolute
you.
worst today.
To all the participants, thank you. Everybody, thank you. Thank you.
I don't know, Jerry. This leads to I want to do an all-native tournament, and this is kind of the start of that. Where I know I got some friends down in Arizona. We got the Northwest scene, and now we got the Canada scene. We should find a place where we can kind of be central and just do an all Indigenous tournament. I would love that.
Love it. Love it. Make it happen.
Absolutely. So my closing thoughts are, there was a comment earlier, Facebook user got their first MPO win. I didn't want such an accomplishment to be glossed over because Jerry's just nonstop talking the whole time. So I wanted to backtrack and use my time to highlight the first 999 round that they've ever had and the first MPO win that they've ever had. So that's a huge, to Facebook user, huge congratulations. If you write your name in, I will give you a shout out of your name until I see. Facebook user shout out Jerry. Inspiration as always. Like I said, sometimes it feels like I'm alone doing some of the work. So when I see other people doing it, that gives me a lot of motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. So I appreciate you kind of blazing that trail up there and kicking off. I mean, first on Indigenous lands ain't going to be the last, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. And so for me, that's inspirational. So I was just happy to sit by for once and just listen. Paige was very quiet, not only because I was driving, but because I was really just listening to all of the experience from Jerry. Um, Josh doing his best impression to be Cody. What are your closing thoughts?
I want to thank Jerry for coming on. We appreciate it. You're always a blast to chat with. Um, and listening to the story of your tournaments and facing some really hard challenges and hearing the testimony of how awesome people love the tournament and how it went off very well for you. It just shows that nothing can stop us when we want to do something amazing. And so I am blown away by you pulling this off with so many things in the way. So you inspired me, Jerry,
Thank
my
you.
neighbor
You
to the north.
inspire me. I always
So this
say
week's
it's.
show. Oh, go ahead, Jerry. Sorry, I was
I
going to
just want to
sponsor.
say
Well,
Go ahead.
you did it.
no. Though I just have to say it's not I and me, it's us and we. So it's all of us that have come together that makes every event a success. So yeah, don't give me any credit. Own it because we inspire each other.
Awesome.
Jerry
I love
out
it.
here reminding people that they are the most humble native out there. Humility is Jerry's middle name. They take zero credit for any of this. I like that, Jerry. So with that, we'll go to our sponsor. It's not an official sponsor of Jammers in the Rough, but we wanted to highlight TSA as one of the 40 sponsors of Jerry. Without them, that tournament wouldn't. Well, it still would happen, but they wouldn't have such cool player packs, right?
Right?
Uh, but TSA, it's disc in the bag. So thank you guys, TSA. This is also, like I said, our first TSA takeover of Jammers in the Rough. First of many, more to come. So with that, guys and gals, keep jamming it in the rough. I'll see you next week.